The tear collector. My father is in the business of collecting tears. He has a jar for every one of his children. When he sees his child's teardrop fall, he runs swiftly to catch it in a jar. Thus he is never far from them. Each tear is precious to him. It sprang from the heart of his precious child. My father is in the business of sharing. He shares the heavy loads his children bear. He said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. I will give you rest." So when you feel you can't go on, just ask the Father. He will share it with you. Now that I've come to know him, I know this to be true. I was never alone in the midst of my suffering. When my father abused me, he was there. When my mother neglected me, he was there too. He collected every one of my tears, as a child collects treasures in a tiny tin box. My father is in the business of compassion. Compassion, a feeling of sadness because of another's trouble or suffering. God reached down from his throne on high to come alongside us out of compassion. God sent his only Son to die a horrible death, death on a cross, for me, for you. The Father sent Jesus to represent him. To know Jesus is to know the Father. To know Jesus is to know compassion. When Jesus met the widow who lost her son, he was moved with pity and said, "Do not weep." God's word tells us he had to become like his brothers, that he might be merciful. He himself offered loud cries to the Father, who was able to save him from death. As Jesus was lifted up, so might we be, as we trust in him with our burdens, pains, disappointments, and sorrows. Let us embrace God the Father, the tear collector.